Calyrex Shadow is unarguably the best Pokemon in the format. And I have been using it for pretty much since the format came out. About a week in, I just kind of stably stuck with the Cali team, and I've been doing very well with it. I've been placing decently in tournaments, and today I just kind of wanted to break down how to use it, some of its best partners are, and build a team around it to test. So I have 3 sets for Cali Prepare, and I'll say which one I prefer using. But here's the pretty common choice spec set. For most Cali sets, and there is an exception, and I'll mention that when we get to it, but for most Cali sets, you're going to want to be using Terra Fairy. There are other options for sets that don't run Draining Kiss. For example, if we weren't running Draining Kiss, I have considered Terra Dark because that helps you resist the dark moves, and it doesn't give you that steel weakness, which is really annoying. You also get an immunity to Psychic, you get immunity to Prankster stuff, which has been a bit annoying for me, but by and large, Fairy is best here. You don't really want to be going Terra Ghost on a spec set, in my opinion, because you get so much defensive benefit out of Fairy that you're able to stay on the field and just drop another Astral, which just does much more damage. So as for spec set, Astral is obviously going to be on every single one of these sets. If somehow you don't know what this move does, it basically does 90 base power damage to both opponents, because that's how double hit moves work. It's 120 base power, so you multiply it by 0.75 for the damage it does to each. Shadow Ball is 80. So you're doing 10 base power more than a Shadow Ball into both targets. This obviously is the reason Cali is pretty weak to Wide Guard, and this Pokemon alone is a massive reason Wide Guard is very popular right now, which is why we run some non-multi-target moves on here as well. So that's why I like Psyshock over Expanding Force on a spec set, so that you're not just kind of forced into Expanding Force doing like multi-target damage if they have Psychic Terrain up. Then you're just kind of locked out of the game with Wide Guard. Psyshock also can hit your opponent defensively, which is really nice for if you're hitting into some kind of special wall. You just hit them defensively, and you actually have a way to deal damage into it. Terra Fairy Draining Kiss is like pretty deceptively powerful, because Terra Fairy boosts it up to 60 base power, and then you get stab boost, so 90, and you get a lot of healing back, so it lets you stay on the field pretty sustainably. Especially with specs, you do a lot of damage, you get to stay there, and obviously your partners can help keep up that damage and things like that, and we'll get into a partner that helps it get up a lot of damage later on. But now finally we have Shadow Ball. This is, again, if they have Wide Guard, you are using this. If they do not have Wide Guard, you are never clicking this move, because Astral just does more damage into each target. There's really never any reason to click Shadow Ball if Wide Guard is not a threat. As for the spread, this is the spread you're going to see on all 3 Cali sets. Just 252, 252. That 4 can go into defense, it can go into special defense. It's really not changing very much, so I just like leaving it HP. I know some people take out some special attack for bulk on Specs Cali, and I can understand that. I personally prefer just having straight 252, 252, because I think Cali is out there to just do damage. It's not out there to be super bulky. But yeah, the only really bulk you're getting is on like the Terra Dark sets to resist those Astral Barrages, which again most people aren't running. It's just kind of like a niche thing I like to use. So this is the Life Orb set. This has currently been my favorite way to run Cali. I'm running this exact set. I'm currently running Terra Dark over Fairy. I don't know if that's better, to be completely honest, and we'll get into that. Like when I'm building the team, we'll have to make the pick there, but in all honesty, I'm almost definitely going to be using this set building the team. Life Orb gives you nearly the same boost as Specs, and it gives you a lot more versatility in what you can do with the Pokemon. I think Protect on Cali is a very powerful tool. because it helps you if you've Terra'd and trying to fake up mods. It helps you just position yourself very well. It's Protect. Protect is the best move in VGC, and it's for a reason. Protect, the best move on the best mod. There's a reason it's very powerful. Astral Barrage here, you know what it's doing. Expanding Force, I think this can be swapped out for Psyshock. It really just depends on like your matchups and what you're running. If you're running an Indeedee, definitely Expanding Force. If you're not running an Indeedee, or even, I guess there is an argument for if you are, so that you don't get like Wide Guard trapped. But Psyshock has a lot of usage. The benefit of Expanding Force over Psyshock is it's hitting them specially, so you don't have to worry about like bulky walls and stuff like that that are tearing to avoid your ghost damage. But again, you have teammates to avoid that problem, so for now we'll leave this as Psyshock. Protect, we've talked about. Substitute. So this is a debatable one. A lot of people like running Draining Kiss over Substitute here. I get that, because Draining Kiss is a very strong move if you Terra. If you don't Terra, you're kind of never clicking it, and even if you do Terra, a lot of times you don't want to be clicking it. You want to be just nuking with Astral Barrage. Substitute lets you position yourself very well sometimes. I've also considered running Taunt on this because, Caly gets Taunt for some reason. Fastest relevant mod in the format gets non-Prankster Taunt, which it could be very useful, but I have really loved using Substitute. It's saved my games several times, and it's been a complete game changer for me. So I think this set, personally, my favorite Caly set, the one I personally think is best. This is probably the most famous Caly set right now, just because of the big Wolfie team that used it and won a big tournament with it. Wolfie used Focus Sash on his Caly with Terra Ghost, with Astral expanding Protect Nasty Plot. I don't believe this was next to an Indeedee, so he chose Expanding Force for the reason I was talking about, debating Expanding Force and Psyshock. He chose Expanding Force because it gave a slightly better matchup. Focus Sash sets will always run this exact moveset, except maybe Psyshock over Expanding Force, because Nasty Plot is the reason you're running Focus Sash. Terra Ghost nuking with Astral Barrages, especially at +2, can just sweep games for you. And again, running the exact same set. So this Caly is just very powerful at going on the field, Nasty Plot up, take a hit, slam into him, and nuke the whole rest of the game. The one Terra there's two that are fairly relevant that I haven't talked about. This one doesn't get used very often anymore, but there were people running Terra Fighting and Terra Blast in order to just help your matchup against dark types like Incineroar specifically that resist the neutral to the Draining Kiss. I think that's neat, but I don't think it's better than the standard, and I don't think you get enough defensive benefit out of it. You're still weak to Caly, because they run psychic moves, so you're still weak to Caly, just in a different way. So I just don't think it's very worthwhile. The other one I've seen is Terra Normal, and I'll put this back to Shadow Mode, just to be straight up immune to Astrals. And I get that. I think Terra Dark is slightly better Terra Normal, and I think Fairy is better than Terra Dark. Dark and Normal both have their benefits, obviously, but I do like Terra Dark a bit more than that, and I think Fairy is just better than Terra Dark. So, yeah. So now that we've talked about all these sets, I am going to be using this Life Orb set. I think we will go Expanding Force here, just to keep it simple. Now, let's talk about my two favorite partners for Caly, because I think these two Pokemon are the best mons to have on a Caly team you can possibly ask for. And the first one is going to be Mienshao. Mienshao with, and this is another reason I don't like Focus Sash Caly, because Mienshao with Focus Sash is the best Caly partner in the game. I've seen a lot of talk about Terra Ghost. I've seen talk about Terra Normal. No, I personally think you run Terra Fighting, Focus Sash Mienshao with Inner Focus, and you just give it Fake Out, Close Combat, Wide Guard, and this is a flex spot, but I really like using Feint. I've seen a lot of Knockoff, I've seen a lot of U-Turn, I've seen a lot of Taunt in that slot. I like Feint because it beats Wide Guard and it beats Protect, and it lets Caly just slam into your opponents and your other teammates, but like, let's be honest, this is a Caly team, we're trying to optimize our Caly here. And as for the set, again, very simple, literally the Smokehound set. 252 for 252 Jolly. Just as fast as it can be, big damage, your Focus Sash, you're not worried about living hits. This Close Combat, even without Terra Fighting, does huge damage. It can pretty reliably one-shot Instant. If it hasn't Terra'd or anything like that, I think it one-shots Instant unless it runs a little too much bulk, and then even then you're doing like 86, 80, stuff like that, and Astral will reliably do over 20 to an Instant. So Close Combat plus Astral still slams Instant and you're okay. Wide Guard, I think one of the best moves in the format, definitely like probably third best utility move in my opinion, behind Protect and Taunt. And like Prankster Taunt really, or just like a faster Taunt. But Wide Guard, in case anyone doesn't know what Wide Guard does, it blocks moves that hit both targets. And so that's why we were talking about so much with Caly, because it blocks Astral Barrage, it blocks Water Spout from Kyogre, Origin Pulse from Kyogre, which kind of negates Kyogre as a Pokemon. It blocks Precipice Blades from Groudon. Like, if you look at the restricted legendaries, right? Caly-Ice, Glacial Lance, Caly Shadow, Astral Barrage, nothing from this, but like these aren't really great Pokemon anyway. Eternatus is decent. Giratina, no. Groudon, Precipice Blades, no. Water Spout and Origin Pulse, no. Blizzards from Kyurem White, it can block. Kyurem White's been getting a little more usage lately. Mewtwo Expanding Force is the only reason you ever use Mewtwo, so. Dazzling Gleam from Miraidon, if that ever gets used. Terrapagos, it helps your Terrapagos match up so much, because these close combats will, if you break Terra Shell, it will one-shot a standard form Terrapagos 100% of the time, and it, depending on the bulk, it can one-shot Terrapagos Stellar. If not, if it has too much bulk, you're still doing like around 60% is the lowest I've ever seen a close combat do into it. So the Mienshao helps this matchup immensely, because otherwise that matchup is really, really bad for Caly. And yeah, so that's about it for multi-target moves, but also it completely invalidates Tornadus, however you want to call it, because the only attack Torn ever really runs is Bleak Wind. Sometimes it runs Icy Wind, which is also blocked by Wide Guard. I've even seen like a couple Heat Waves Torns lately, completely blocked by Wide Guard. Speaking of Heat Wave, this also blocks, it also blocks Torkoal out pretty reliably, right? You block out your Eruptions and the Heat Waves. You block out Dazzling Gleams from Flutter, which I've seen them not running as much lately because of Mienshao Wide Guard. But yeah, this Pokemon is just amazing. It's a beautiful utility partner to have with Caly, and if they're not running any multi-hit, any like 2-target moves, you don't need to bring it. But there's still value to bringing it even in those situations, because it gets Fake Out, one of the best moves in the game, and big damage off close combat. And like I said, that Feint is not something that should be ignored. Yes, it's only 30 base power normal move, but you're not using it for damage. It does like around 10% to most mons, which is honestly decent. Like if it's unresisted, it does about 10%. That's like a little bit of chip, which is nice for a move that you're not using for damage whatsoever. It's like Fake Out. How like Fake Out could do 0 damage and still be a very useful move, but the fact that it does damage is nice. Feint is also great for breaking like focus sashes. I've had that be nice for me against like Pelipper's. Because Pelipper is getting a lot of usage lately because Wide Guard, Tailwind, and setting up Rain and doing decent damage in the Rain. And Mienshao can Feint it, breaks that Wide Guard, or breaks the Sash, and Caly Astral, again, just nukes it. So probably the best possible partner for Caly, Mienshao here. But the second best one, in my opinion, and honestly my favorite, is Chi-Yu. I love this evil little fish so much because, and this is another reason I like Life Orb on Caly Shadow, because this Mon with choice specs, I just run Dark Pulse, Heat Wave, Snarl, and Overheat for just a nuke button. Again, standard Smogon set. This Mon is disgusting. This is actually such a grossly powerful Mon. Terra Ghost lets you ignore fake outs. It lets you ignore close combats from other Mienshao, who Mienshao is a pretty good Chi-Yu counter, but you can just slam it with the Dark Pulse, do well over half, you can overheat it, nuke anything without a focus sash. Overheat Chi-Yu can one-shot any Farigiraf that is not Terra Fire or Water, like a Terra that resists Chi-Yu, and Dark Pulse can one-shot if it doesn't Terra, which helps your Trick Room matchup so much. It is genuinely impossible to understate how useful this Mon is for Caly Shadow. And these three just make such a good core. Chi-Yu also, I know we all know this, but it drops opponent's special defense by 25%. Caly Shadow with Life Orb, with Beads of Ruin Chi-Yu beside it, is already doing so much damage on its own, but then you just throw on a Heat Wave, you throw on a Snarl that's one-shotting any non-Terra Calys, like, you are doing so much spread damage. I have seen a Astral plus Heat Wave combo pretty consistently do over 50% to Instant who resists both attacks. And if you just Terra your Caly, it can't kill either of your Mons. And if you've done a decent bit of damage to it before, you can easily kill it. This combination is one of the highest damage output combos in the entire game. And this trio helps Caly shine so much. Now, outside of this trio, right, I think that a lot of people are underrating how important speed control is in this format. A lot of people I've seen not running speed control, or if they are, it's Trick Room, which obviously this team isn't looking for. I think this team absolutely wants Tailwind, and I think a lot of people that aren't running Tailwind are just getting swept by it. So obviously you have a couple options for Tailwind setters. I personally don't want to use Urshifu on this team. And the reason I bring that up is because if I wanted to use Urshifu, I would use Torn as my setter for Rain. But A, I don't like having Rain on this team because of how much damage Chi-Yu is putting up. And B, I have not felt the need for Urshifu. However, what I have loved is Whimsicott here. I think Whimsicott is better than Torn next to Caly 99% of the time. And the reason I like it so much is because you give it Covert Cloak, right? That's pretty standard for a Tailwind setter. You give it Terra Dark to be immune to those Prankster taunts. Moonblast does deceptive amounts of damage. This move will reliably do like 25% to Mons under beads. It'll do even more. I've seen it do pretty good damage into Grimmsnarl, which is a pretty annoying Mon, and that's really helpful. I've seen it do around 30 to Insins. This move is very, very useful because you're getting solid damage out, and this is not one of your main damage dealers. It's just benefiting your other damage dealers. But obviously that's not why you run Whimsicott. You run Whimsicott because it has Tailwind, but also because it has Fake Tears. Whimsicott Fake Tears halves opponent's special defense. Now, Caly's already doing nuclear damage. Chi-Yu is already doing nuclear damage. Double it. Fake Tears just doubles it. And to just pull out the set I've been using, right? Because the last move that I like running on my Whims is Encore. Encore locks people into Protect. It locks Terapagos into Calm Mind, or Protect if it wants to outspeed that, and then it's still locked into a status move. So Whimsicott can just kind of lock down these setup sweepers as long as they're not dark types, and Terapagos is never allowed to be a dark type. And trust me, you're never seeing Mental Herb Terapagos. As for the spread here, this spread is very flexible. I've been running this lately. I think it might want to run some more speed and drop a little bit of its physical bulk. But regardless of that, right, Whimsicott is also very surprisingly bulky. Because you always want to be running 252 HP in this set. You only need 4 special attack, and that's only because there was just a point left over. You could take that out. It will not make any difference in any of your calcs. But Whimsicott is just surprisingly bulky. It can stay on the field. It can survive Astrals. It can survive... It easily tanks. Like, knockoffs, it survives Urshifu, Surging Strikes very reliably at, like... I think it takes like 75% if Ursha's in rain, something like that. Like it's nuts. Very, very strong Mon. And it's not only doing good damage from Moonblast, it's doing huge damage from Fake Tears. Now, last Mon that I feel like is part of this core here is Amoonguss. This is, not, by no means is Amoonguss a shocking pull, right? And let me just pull the set that I standard use just so I don't have to look for the EVs. But this Amoonguss set, right, Rocky Helmet, Spore, Sludge Bomb, Protect, Rage Powder, all pretty standard. I prefer Sludge Bomb over Pollen Puff just because you're not really trying to like heal any of your other Mons. I don't think that's necessary, and Sludge Bomb helps a lot into Terra Grass Mons and things like that, or just straight Rillaboom. Terra Water. I love Terra Water so much. I've seen a lot of Terra Dark lately, which I get, but I like Terra Water because Amoonguss invalidates Kyogre and Caly-S when you have Terra Water. Because, so you see, this IV is just the one I have in-game. This can be 31 and it doesn't change anything. I just intentionally didn't hyper-train it, so I wanted to keep it accurate to my in-game. I have it running a Sassy Nature. This is slower than anything you will find except Torkoal. So Amoonguss can just spore anything in Trick Room as long as it doesn't have safety goggles, or if it tries to protect, you have that. But Amoonguss just does amazingly into Trick Room, and it is not taking very much from Glacial Lances if you Terra Water it. It also does amazing next to Kyogre, and the reason you want to Terra in front of that is because Kyogre is seen next to Torn a lot. Same with Torn Shifu. This does great into that too. Rage Powder or Shifu Surging Strikes is doing like maybe 30% in rain to this, and Rocky Helmet deals back half its health. And you can just Spore, you can use Rage Powder to keep it into you, whatever you need. And then Terra Water makes you no longer weak to that Bleak Wind, and so you're taking it pretty well. So overall, right, this core of 5 does the job pretty solidly. I've considered a lot of other Mons for 6. Right now, I'm running Ogerpon Wellspring. I don't know if I want to keep that, right? Because if we look at like my Reg G teams, you can see I've tried Bolt, I've tried Rillaboom, I've tried Bundle a lot, I've tried Ogerpon. And there's not anything that I have felt like is absolutely the necessary last Mon here. Also, I've tried Indeedee back before I had Amoonguss, but Amoonguss kind of invalidates the need for Indeedee. But right now, I'm going to go with Bolt. And the reason I'm going to do that, Bolt is just a very strong Mon. You have it next to Chi-Yu, it's doing huge damage. It's a very bulky Mon. I run it with enough speed to, under Tailwind, outspeed Cali Shadow. It has very strong special attacks. It's very bulky with the AV. Most people know how Raging Bolt works, right? This here is a very strong team, right? These 5 absolutely guaranteed. You can play around with this last slot and see what feels good to you. Bolt just kind of feels the best to me right now. But yeah, so this is the How to Play Caly-S team. So I just made a new account, right? Validate this, just make sure we're all good. Okay, I just made a new account for the channel, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to go into a best of 3 and just show how the team plays. Obviously, yes, this will be low ladder, but I think it'd be nice to see. So yeah, just to show, like, yeah, I'm being honest, this is low ladder, but I think it's still good to see. So okay, so you have Scarf, Urshifu Rapid, you have Rilla, you have Incent, you have Terapagos, Moongus, all seeming very standard. The Screamtail is always going to be annoying, but this team did not bring any kind of Tailwind. So Wims right here next to Caly, what do they do about that? Right, because yes, the Terapagos is immune to Astral. Anything else is taking decent damage from it. If they go Terapagos Incin, I have Mien in the back, and I mean, honestly, we'll just go Moongus. So yeah, Incin Rilla, right? So I don't need a Tailwind just yet. What I can do is I can Fake Tears, Terra Fairy, Astral. That will either kill the Rillaboom or do around 80, guaranteed. Also, this Incin doesn't have knockoff, so I actually don't need to Terra. I just realized that. So yeah, not gonna knock off. We're just gonna Fake Tears Astral. Not gonna Terra, sorry. Yeah, Fake Tears Astral. Actually no. I'm gonna Fake Tears and I'm gonna Protect. The reason being I could get Wood Hammered if the Rillaboom lives. No, so just Grassy Glide, but again, it was just better to play safe there. Whimsicott lives Flare Blizzes from Incin. That's another thing I was bringing up about how bulky it is. Very, very bulky mon. So I'm more than willing to let it go down here and just Moonblast Astral. And so even if they switch in Terapagos, right, I still get the benefit of breaking its Terra Shell. And Wims will die, right, and then I can just bring in Mien and do very good damage in the Terapagos or the Incin. I get to pick. And if Rilla doesn't switch, it just dies. They also have the option of Grassy Glide into my Whim. But okay, so they go with the Terapagos, right? So how much is this Astral doing in Incin? It does 30% to Incineroar. That's not bad damage by any means. Moonblast does 11 into the Terra Shell Terapagos. They just Parting Shot my Caly instead. Okay, that's fine by me. And so the good part here is if Terapagos goes for a setup move, I can just Encore straight into that. If it doesn't, or my Whimsicott's probably gonna have to switch out here anyway, but the nice part here, right? So yes, the Terapagos heals up next to the leftovers. I'm just gonna Moonblast and switch into my Amoonguss, I think, just to keep my Caly safer, and because I don't want to bring up my Mien just yet. So Grassy Glide into Amoonguss does nothing and does decent chip to Rilla. Terapagos in here does a little damage, breaks the shell. Now that's what I'm talking about with the Calm Mind Encore stuff, right? So I can just Sludge Bomb into the Rilla. So yeah, now Terapagos is locked into Calm Mind until it switches out. And I get a free Sludge Bomb into Incin. How much does that do? That is 22%. That's definitely not bad, right? And then I can just Moonblast and Protect here in case they go for the Flare Blitz into Moongus because I don't want to let drop. 19% into Incin. That's great. They do Flare Blitz the Whims and it goes down. So right here, right, Mienshao, I'm gonna close combat the Incin, Sludge Bomb the Terapagos to break. Yeah, because I think that'll do enough to keep it broken after. Yeah, so CC kills the Incin. Yeah, so it only did 3%. So that's the issue here. Terapagos are just so strong. Actually, that was a misplay. I should have Spored into the Terapagos. I just kind of completely forgot about that. That's a complete mistake on my end. I'm fully willing to admit that. What I can do, though, is I can Terra Fighting close combat the Terrapagos, who I fully expect to Terra this turn, and I can still draw on the Rilla. So they don't Terra this turn, so I probably lose this game. I'm fully okay with that. They U-turn the Amoonguss. So that's a Scream Tail, actually. Okay. And they Earth Power the Amoonguss, which that not killing is actually crazy. That's a +4 Earth Power. It doesn't even seem to come close to killing. So I'm gonna Wide Guard here to avoid Scream Tail disabling my close combat. That's what I was trying to say. And I mean I'll Spore into the Terrapagos if I can get it off. Yeah, okay, so Scream Tail just goes Terra Grass here. Okay, I think they're gonna Earth Power here, or they're gonna switch. So I can actually bring this back. Okay, that I get Encore there. That's not great. Yeah, okay, I do probably lose this one then, but that's still okay. Yeah, I am gonna lose here, but I'm still okay with that, and that's just like me getting more comfortable with the team, because I haven't played at all today, and this is a little bit different than I normally use, and I haven't seen this in a little bit, you know, but that's not for the sake of making excuses, that's just for the sake of me saying it's okay to not be comfortable with your teams yet. So yeah, Scream Tail, disable, all that. But I definitely see like where the mistakes were made, and I see how I can pull this back for the next set. So just going for game 2. So next game, right? The Whims wasn't really doing enough into the instant, yeah, the really instant lead. I was pretty sure that's what they went with, but I just wanted to check. So I think not having Chi-Yu really screwed me there because I didn't have enough damage off Rip. So I think honestly a Mienshao Chi-Yu lead is a lot better because then I have Whims and Caly not Whims, Amoonguss and Caly in the back. So yeah, they go really instant again. And I think here I can just fake out the Rilla, and I could just overheat the slot. The problem is if they Terra Fire, then they lose their chance to Terra for the rest of the game, so it's still good for me. So yeah, I'm gonna overheat the Rillaboom. There's a very good chance that I fake out the Rillaboom, instant fakes out the Chi-Yu, and that's the turn, but I don't want to waste my Terra just yet. Okay, they do go with Scream Tail, so if I am allowed to get off this overheat, that'd be great. Yes, okay, Scream Tail just drops, that's great for me. Not having to worry about that anymore is awesome. They Parting Shot me, that's fine, I overheated, I nuked my own special attack anyway. So, yeah, this is going much better for me now. Alright, so I switch out into Rillaboom. I don't think times 0.4 special attack in overheat is going to one-shot the Rillaboom. I'll be honest, I can say it. But I do want to pull out Amoonguss here, and I don't think overheat is going to do more than 12% to Terrapagos. So I think that the difficulty here, right, is I think they're going to double in my man, so I think I have to bring out Amoonguss here. I think I have to double switch just to make my Chi-Yu able to come back in later. They U-turn the Caly, which is not exactly what I was expecting, but it's okay. And then they Earth Power the Caly as well. Okay, so instant being Safety Goggles is annoying because I don't have the opportunity to just Spore it and assume this is going to protect. However, I think I can just Double Protect this turn. Terrapagos did not protect, they Calm Minded. And they went for a Flare Blitz and a Caly. So I am going to Spore again. And I'll go for the Expanding Force into Terrapagos. They protect. Flare Blitz does huge damage to Amoonguss. Okay. So that will still kill through Terra Water. So I'm going to protect. And switch in Chi-Yu. Earth Power, Chi-Yu lives it, and they taunt the Amoonguss. Okay. So I'll Rage Powder here. And I'll Heat Wave. How much does Heat Wave do to instant? 28. Flare Blitz kills. The problem is this Terrapagos still has its shield up, right? So we'll Expanding Force and Heat Wave the Terrapagos. Mien might be able to come through for us here. Expanding Force does how much? 23 into Terra Shell, that's not bad. Heat Wave knocks it down pretty low. They go in for the Chi-Yu. I can't actually pull this out. Because if I just Astral and... So what I'm worried about is them doubling my Mien here. So I think I have to CC the Terrapagos and Astral. Because if I get protected, I think I can live 2 Grassies. Maybe. Actually, no, I don't think I do. Oh, but they would hammer. They attacked the wrong slot, actually, I think. Because if I Terra in close combat, that one-shots the Terrapagos even if it Terras. And... Ooh. No, I have to kill the Rillaboom first. No, I think I have to kill the Terrapagos, and it might just be over this turn. Oh, right. I timed out Grassy. Okay, we're fine. I timed out Grassy train. Okay. Oh, I didn't time it out. They tear it and they lost it themselves. That's what happened. Okay. So yeah, now I just CC the Rilla and it's gone. Alright, so that's game 2. Game 3. So yeah, I was definitely right to bring Chi-Yu. Mienshao did do a lot of work there. Yeah, so I want Chi-Yu in the lead, I want Mien in the lead. I do want Amoonguss in the back. Yeah, I think I haven't been using Amoonguss very well, but I think I definitely want it in the back. And then I think I still need Caly. So okay, they go with the Rillaboom lead here. I could just straight Terra Ghost, fake out the Ursh, or yeah, because the problem is I'm worried about them surging my Mien. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna Terra Ghost, Heat Wave, fake out Urshifu. That way, no matter what, I get good damage in both slots. I think this Heat Wave does around 50 to Ursh. Oh, okay, they give me their Terra Shell for free. Fake out does a little decent chip to Ursh. Yeah, Heat Wave does 59. Oh, and the burn on Terrapagos was really nice. I don't think it was like I win or lose the game off it, but it's really nice for me to have. Um, I'm gonna make a read that I'm gonna make a read that they targeted down the Mien because I need to protect that more than the Chi-Yu anyway. So if I get that wrong, it's still okay. They dropped the grassy terrain. They did surging the Chi-Yu instead, but look at how little that Terra Starstorm did to Amoonguss. So now my Mien can come back in, and I just fake out and which slot do I want to spore? Actually, no, I don't fake it out. I have Rage Powder. Rage Powder. What am I doing? Yeah, CC Rage Powder. Does Terrapagos protect here? It does protect there, but that just means it can't protect again. And I can't be faked out. So I will close comment on that slot. I'll spore it just in case they somehow live. Or if they go into like Screamtail. Yeah, so they do go into Screamtail. So Screamtail can go to sleep here. So I want Mien saved. The problem is I am still in a very awkward spot with this Rillaboom just doing big damage. I think I have to switch into Caly and Sludgebomb. And just hope that's not a Wood Hammer. It's not a Wood Hammer, so we're okay. Sludgebomb, that poison is definitely nice. I can't lie. That poison's really nice. But yeah, so we Astral here, and now I think this game should be pretty winnable. Ideally, Screamtail stays asleep. Okay, it does stay asleep. My Astral didn't kill it, which is a little surprising to me and a little concerning. But yeah, so it's pretty much game over here. Because we just Rage Powder with the Urshifu and Expanding Force into Terrapagos. Yeah, okay, so yeah, Expanding Force, Rage Powder, that'll just pull out the win here, it looks like. Not on this turn, but on the next turn. So U-turn, it's good chip into it, 63% to the Terrapagos. Amoonguss lives that pretty solidly. Close combat, Rage Powder. Even if they protect here, it'll drop to the Rocky Helmet turn 2. So I'm still okay. Yep, okay, that's it. Close combat, Rage Powder, and that's over. So yeah, even with me not playing very well at the start at all, this set was very, very able to be brought back, and Terrapagos is pretty consistently considered Caly's worst matchup. See, like, this count's not even registered. But yeah, this team is just strong enough that it can still overcome that pretty well. And again, we didn't use that 6th slot, so again, it's up to whatever you think you need with it. But yeah, that's the team. That is how I think Caly should be built. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll definitely be back with more content on Reg G because I've really been enjoying it. And I'm going to start looking into other restricteds to post about. So if there's any that you want to see built, just let me know, and I'll absolutely look into it. But yeah, have a good day. Goodbye.